not right. It's just that it's showing as wrong.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Joe's setting us up for live entertainment.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hey, we're good.
You're coming up with
Joe, I had a feeling that today was going to be a hangout. That's why I wore my orange shirt.
Subliminal messaging.
Dude, you're starting to form a helmet on top of your head, though, dude. What's going on?
I need a haircut so bad. Every time I try to get one, something gets in my way. I've decided that tomorrow, I'm going to get one. So
okay.
I'll just be happy you have hair.
No, it's getting bad.
I don't know. As soon as you've done that, Joe, it comes up on Facebook on my phone. Click, flashes up on the screen.
Yep. Yeah, because I stream to Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube all at once. So yeah. Sweet. Oh, let me get the restream in case anyone comments on the Facebook or Twitter streams. I'll get those comments. 1 second.
Hi, boys and girls. Sorry, Joe, I was tied up this morning. I didn't see your message.
It's all good. Yeah, I didn't have really time. I've been busy. Didn't have time to really prepare for any topic. So I figured we'd do a hangout. I have some little grab bag things we can chat about, but nothing huge. And hey, if you guys got any other problems, it's always fun to do a Wednesday one of these. Sometimes we get some new faces.
I was head down in JavaScript hell.
Oh boy, sounds like fun.
No, it wasn't fun at all. I succeeded in the end, but
okay. I watched an interesting video this morning on JavaScript memory utilization, and like this doesn't really pertain much to us because it's mostly people that are using like large JavaScript frameworks that are working at big companies and whose websites use like tons of memory because a lot of work happens in the browser versus like on the server. Yeah, it was quite interesting, but I was glad to say like, well, I don't have to worry about that.
Nice. I don't know, Scott. Is JavaScript hell worse than GoDaddy hell, or are they fairly?
Well, I don't think anything's worse than GoDaddy hell.
Yeah, I'm just glad to be out of it.
It boggles my mind that company exists.
Me too, man.
Because it's been horrible for over a decade.
Yeah. I was talking to someone. I was trying to explain to a non-tech person why I was so upset yesterday, and like she didn't even know that GoDaddy existed. That's how far out of tech she is. And I was like, yeah, you may have remembered them. They had the commercials like 10 years ago with that race car driver. I think it was Danica. And I was like, they had to sell it with sex. They had to show a pretty girl because when you have crap, you need to sell it with sex.
And nerds love pretty girls.
Yeah,
I'm sexy enough for everybody.
Exactly. It comes pre-built in with Joe.
Bob almost fell off his chair.
Well, yeah, man, it's such a racket, man. You know what I think it is back in the 10 years ago roughly, they were actually wanting people to use them as like a hosting company, but now I think they're trying to go and compete with Squarespace and Wix. They want you to use their online site builder. And so they make it so difficult. Like if you get into their admin panels, it's nothing but trying to sell you stuff. Everything you click on is like an ad, essentially.
Upsell.
Yeah, it's a way to upsell. That's all it is.
So what host did you go with?
Me.
Oh, nice.
Sweet. Yeah.
Okay.
This guy.
Score.
Yeah.
My neighbor does he has like a detailing business on the side outside of his job. Like people bring his cars and all weekend long he's detailing cars. And he built a website with Shopify. And the other day he asked me some questions, and he has a computer set up in his garage, and he showed me how like Shopify works. And I was like, Jesus, this sucks ass. Like,
Yeah.
I was like,
bet.
man, people are building websites with this crap.
Yeah.
And but yeah. And then I've other friends that love Squarespace and use that, and that has its own nightmares as well.
I know. It's terrible,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And like they wanna go in and, you know, fix something that, you know, because they like the idea of the template, but they want specific things and they just cannot do it. It's damn near impossible. You're stuck.
Yeah. He was just like, I want to change the size of this heading, and you couldn't do it. Like, he just like, it was like custom CSS was like the only option. And it was just like, wow.
Yeah.
So let's see. I just shipped a total CMS update. I don't know. It doesn't affect many people because this bug's been there probably for, I don't know, 5 years, and no one's ever found it, but I fixed it.
Good job.
The blog date macros, which I even forgot they existed. They weren't translating properly to various languages. So fixed those. And then also a thing that's been bothering me for a long time that I fixed is if you ever add an admin core to the page and you're using Foundation 6, like in Foundation 1, they like showed up in a nice little row, or if you don't use Foundation at all, they can show up in a nice little row. And but in Foundation 6, they showed up as like a bullet list, like all the styles inside admin core.
Oh, so I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
I finally fixed that. So it's just been something that's been bothering me forever. It's totally superficial. It has it's just the way they look in edit mode. That's it.
Yeah. I always thought that was because of some like weird issue, something I did. Maybe I didn't have site styles. I have site styles. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they had Foundation 1 grid settings in there, and obviously Foundation 6 is different. So yeah. Just something that was like, you know, the story of, you know, the hound sitting on the tack, but he just sits there howling because it doesn't hurt enough to actually go and get off of it. Kind of like this, where it's like, oh, I got to fix that one day. You drag it onto the page, you're like, I got to fix that one day. And eventually, years later, I'll fix it. And I did.
I don't think I've ever heard that story before.
Really? It's the story of that the hound just sitting there, but it doesn't hurt enough to like move, but yeah, he just keeps howling. Yeah.
Are you drunk again?
Am I the only one that's heard that story? That has to be a story everyone else has heard. No?
No.
Just
Anybody?
me? Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Oh man.
That one came from
Parables by Joe Workman. Here we
go. Fantastic. I'm gonna use that. I can't wait to use that in conversation and just see the reactions on people's faces. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay. Anyone got any open questions, or I can just dive into some interesting stuff that I've kind of found lately?
So you want me to get my list out?
Well, actually, your question is one of my things I was going to talk about. I assume your Cartloon question, right?
Well, I got the link to work and everything. Thanks, it works. But so now my issue, I've got a 3-column hamburger to the left, company name in the middle column, and then the cart code in the last column.
Okay.
But when I put that SVG in there, it seems to make that column real long, and I can't pad it or get it to move over or anything like that. Is there something tricky about the SVG?
All right. Does it have width and height attributes on the SVG so you can kind of constrain the width?
You're talking about going and setting the dimensions?
Yeah. Here, why don't you share your screen? We can have a gander. Or if you want to give me the SVG code, I can.
I don't mind sharing the screen. Let me see how you do it. Where is the share screen button at? Here we go. I got to open preferences, I guess, here. Let's see. It's asked to tell me I'm gonna have to quit and reopen Zoom, I guess.
Okay. Well, we'll
Okay,
see you in a
I'll be
minute.
back. Yeah.
Sweet.
Shift, come on.
Actually, Ryan, you don't have to.
How come?
If it says that you have to restart Zoom, you won't have to. That's just something weird that Apple does. If you just say
Okay.
apply and then whatever, you'll be able to share.
Oh, well, there you go. So give it a shot.
Yeah. Unless they've updated that, but I did it the other day and it's still.
Look at that.
Is it? You
Right.
got it?
Boom. There we go.
Okay.
I know
Man,
stuff.
And here we all trusted Apple.
I know you can't trust Apple, man.
Okay, so here's the SVG code right here for the icon, and I put it in the label over here.
Okay. So you have I see. Okay. Well, first off, see that XML version, blah, blah, blah. Delete that. All the way up to, you just need where it says the starting SVG tag.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Delete that. Yeah, that will break your page if you have that XML stuff in there.
Okay.
I knew that one.
Give that a shot.
Okay, so that's what it updates on. Ignore the red and everything. That's obviously not going to be the
Okay.
real color. But see how my cart, and it also makes it twice as thick here.
Well, it kind of looks like maybe you don't have enough space for it. What column settings you got there?
So right here I got it set to 1, 10, and 1 each column. In other words, the hamburger being 1, the company name being 10, and the cart being 1.
Why don't you make the yeah, wait, go back to the column settings for the 3 column.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have 1%, 1, 10, 1. That's on small. Okay. Why don't you try doing column 1 has the hamburger, right?
Correct.
Okay. Make that shrink to fit.
Shrink to content.
Shrink to content.
Okay.
Yeah, and then make a column 3 shrink to content. And then make column 2 auto. Give that a shot. See what that does.
Well, it moved it over,
Okay, so there we go.
but it still doesn't get rid of all that extra on the bottom. What is all that about?
Unsure. Okay, let's look at what else do you have in that column?
There's a height after SVG in his code. What's that?
Yeah, it's a height 20 pixels. I mean, 20 pixels isn't much, but all right, let's.
Do you have a margin on, is that a header for the name, John H? Is there a margin there? as
It's
well?
just a text.
Oh, okay.
Normally I see that you are clicking to a different page and then clicking back to this one. All you really need to do is click the back button on the partial and get out of the partial editor, and
And
that'll
go forward and it'll reload it.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, that's regardless.
No, that's good to know.
Yeah, that back button kind of
Drives me insane.
That back button, think of that as like a save button for your partial. Okay, so that's like saves the partial. Okay.
But does it update your preview screen on mobile is the question.
I believe it does. I believe it will update that, but I could be wrong.
It's when I mess with this stuff, it seems like I'll mess with stuff. And if I had to just went to a different page and then come back, it reloads it actually. And,
Okay.
I don't know.
There is a reload button on there as well that you can force reload it.
Right.
But you don't want to force reload it while you're in the partial. That can be messy.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Just leave the partial.
Okay. So what is taking up that
In
content?
other words, if I
Whoops.
take that button out,
Uh-oh.
see how it goes.
Yeah.
Because- yeah.
Yep. So let's look at that button. Command Z that bad boy. There we go. All right. So you have top bar color, cart loom view cart.
See, when I
Okay.
click the reload button, it doesn't reload.
Yes, because you can't reload while in a partial.
While in a partial. Okay.
Oh, interesting. There we
But if
go.
I go back and come back in, it does. Okay.
Okay. So I kind of need the. Let's see. Let me look at this SVG.
Does he
code we got
really
there.
need to be using a button to do this? Like, couldn't he put an SVG stack and make it a link, and you would have less of the button problems?
using the F6 link.
That or we could try that. Like trying using just the SVG stack. Instead of because the button does add padding and stuff to it, right? So if you just wanted the SVG on there, you could do that as well. So we could try that. So instead of the button, chuck an SVG stack where the button is.
And before you do that, if you actually want to click on the 3-column stack and click on vertical alignment center as well.
Okay, let me go back.
There's alignment there. Oh no, go back. Yeah. So then this will help you. Yeah. So make that vertical alignment center. So then you have a little bit of
middle,
and then then you'll be able to work with the padding a little bit because then it might look bad, but once you actually get it centered, it might actually not be so bad.
Yeah, I played with those. I could never get them to make a difference.
Well, it makes a difference.
Well, yeah. Okay, so we were going to doing it with the SVG. Yep. Is that what you said?
Yeah, SVG stack. So double click in that. Yep, there we go. Copy and paste that. Paste it in. Double click where the apple is, and then there we go.
Okay.
There we go. And then turn off the scale and full width because you're just going to want. There we go. And then in your link, we need to have, actually, you might not even need to have a link. You just probably need to put the Cartloom view cart class on the SVG. I think it's Cartloom -view cart.
Yeah.
Okay. And you probably don't need to have the link on there. But yeah, you can give it a shot. Try that.
Try this as it is.
Yeah, try that as it is.
Okay.
You got to go back.
Oh yeah, I got to go back.
Right here. Did that partial save?
Let me get that other. Okay.
Oh, there we go. See? Yep. If you look at preview there.
Now you can just put a
but now it doesn't go to the cart, so I got to have that.
You can just put a padding Y on the 3-column.
Okay. So now instead of putting the class on, instead of putting it there, cut that.
Yeah.
Okay, delete that or cut it, and then click edit link. And then go to custom attributes, expand custom attributes out. Okay.
Yeah.
And then add a class in there.
So where this title,
where it says key,
yeah,
put class. And then where it says value, you put in Cartloom view cart. All right. And give that a shot.
Oh, error occurred.
Oh.
Cart is empty. Okay, hold on. We can fix that. Hey.
There we go.
Sweet. Okay. Thank you very much, guys.
Nope, no problem.
I only spent a whole day trying to make that work.
God, one day is all?
Yeah.
All right, I can
Now,
figure
you
out
might want to add a little bit of padding on that 3-column or something like that, so that
Right.
it's but yeah, sweet.
Yeah, cool. I can play with it from here. Awesome. Thank you.
Or,
Yeah,
but you got
do
the
that.
add to cart buttons. Oh, I see. Yeah, you got the add to cart buttons working.
Oh yeah, they've been on my site for years. I just
Okay.
trying to get on the mobile thing to just, instead of having this view cart button, just having a little card up there to
Got
save
it.
room and layout and all that kind of
Sweet.
stuff.
I like it.
All right. So got to play with the colors and get it padded. Will be good. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool. Well, that was the first one I wanted to go over. That's all done with here.
I got to teach myself that after I spend 2 hours on something to just wait till the hangout. I'm one of those people, I will sit and screw with something like that for 2 days straight, you know?
You know, but okay. There's nothing wrong with that though. I mean, I think at least me, I learn a lot by
Yeah.
breaking stuff, you know, I
Yeah,
mean, you
yeah.
learn a lot. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, going to the hangouts, but and also the feeling like when you figure it out on your own and you're like,
Oh, yeah,
yes,
you're the king of the
I did
world,
that. Yeah, baby. You know, it's a great feeling.
I used to do that too, and then I'd come to the hangout, and then Joe would tell me how I made my 100-step thing 2 steps. They're like, oh, look at this cool thing I did, and it's like, yeah, you know, you could have just dragged this onto the page and put a class on it, and that's
Yeah,
it.
right.
Thanks. You know, it took me 100 hours to do this, but crushed my dream.
All right, another interesting one. So Mari on the community asked, she wanted to basically, she had a horizon. Okay, if you guys don't know, it's like that horizontal scrolling container that I have. It's kind of like almost a slider. People call it a slider. It's really not, but whatever. And she wanted to launch a light box from within a horizon stack. Okay. And she was like, okay, I'm going to put my light box inside Horizon because I want to launch it from Horizon. And that's a misnomenclature that I think a lot of people do, is they're like, okay, I want to launch a light box from even, let's say, a 3 column, right? Here, let's go ahead and build that a really super simple example.
I know what you're getting ready to say. I make this mistake all the time.
Oh, yeah, cool.
It seems different than what my mind thinks it would be.
Sorry, I should have had rapid relaunch already. All right, so let's go ahead and let's check in a 4 column just so it make it a little bit tiny, right? And now let's just say inside this 4 column, I'm just going to have we're going to launch a light box from a button. Okay, let's just go ahead and get my button. I'm just going to put a button in there. Okay, and we're going to say launch me. Okay, and we are going to open up a light box. Okay, but I need to add a light box. So and a lot of people think, okay, so I'm launching it from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add a light box into here. Okay.
Right.
And then let's just chuck some text in there. It doesn't really matter what's in it. Right, text. Okay. And we match lightbox 1 matches the button. And then look, we preview. Oops. Move that over here. Okay. And I click launch me. And look, it works. Great. Totally works. Okay. But I mean, this is kind of hard to edit. Like, you know, if you had maybe even more columns, or you're on a smaller screen, or you had complex content inside this light box, that it's kind of, you know, it's scrunched down. You don't have a lot of space, right? Right. But watch this. I don't need this here. I could just chuck it at the bottom of the page. Right. Now that it's just at the bottom, I can see exactly what's in it. I can edit the content of it so much easier. Okay. And guess what? It still works. Okay. Because the button is launching the light box. The light box doesn't need to be with the button. The button's just saying, hey, launch this light box. Doesn't matter where it is on the page. Okay. And also a benefit of I tend to put all my light boxes at the very bottom of my page, because I want to make sure the content that's actually visible by the viewer is loaded before data inside of a light box. Right. So adding the light box, just chuck all your light boxes at the very bottom of the page. Okay. They don't need to be inside anything. Okay. And yeah, and then they're not going to, it makes edit mode nicer because it's not going to, as you saw here, it's not going to, crowd up your edit mode with all kinds of junk. Okay. It's just, yeah, much nicer. So there's multiple benefits of having all the way at the bottom of the page, and frees up edit mode, and probably makes, page loads a little bit nicer because it's not going to load them until the very bottom. So hopefully that makes sense. Really small little tip there, but I think it's a good one that I see a lot of people, fall for.
So on my page, I've got like sometimes 20 videos that are in a light box,
Mhm.
but I've been using your rain check.
Okay.
So that I don't need to move the stuff to the bottom if I'm using rain check, correct? Or is there
You don't
still
have to.
an advantage?
No,
Or
you
is
don't
there-
have to. Is there still an advantage? Probably not a noticeable one, to be honest, but it never hurts. But
Right.
but yes, rain check will help as well, right? Rain check will definitely help.
That rain check is an awesome app, and it's crazy what it did.
And here, for those that don't know what Ryan's talking about, I have a stack called rain check that can like just delay the load of things, right? So for example here, like Ryan had rain check, I think, inside of his light box, and I mean I have text in here, right? But he had images, large images and videos, I believe, as well, that were making his page load sluggish. And by just adding and putting them inside rain check basically delays the load of that content.
So
Now, if you have rain check inside of a lightbox, you probably don't want to do on scroll, because the lightbox never triggers a scroll event because it's kind of independent of your page content. So you probably want to do like on page load, and then delay that at some point in time. Maybe 2 seconds. Even you can even do like 2 seconds afterwards, right? After everything is 2 seconds afterwards, we'll go ahead and here, let's do that. Like I'm gonna load that. Oh, all right, it's already there. So yeah. So yeah, rain check's really cool. Check that one out.
Joe, I have the same setting with raincheck and load with click. But the problem is if I reload the site and it's open, the lightbox, raincheck don't load. So can you make it possible that the lightbox load don't set a link? So you know what I mean? Put it in this chat. Wait. Set it this on false. If this were possible in the lightbox, then it doesn't load a link with a hashtag.
So don't load on click. You want to load. I'm sorry. Okay, say that again.
So I have a menu. Yeah.
And
if
yes.
the menu is open with the lightbox.
Yep.
And I reload the page.
Yes.
I don't see anything because raincheck don't load. Because raincheck don't know it.
Yes.
Because no click. So
yes.
If you can make the settings in the lightbox settings, so deep data deep link false. If you can false and true.
Oh, you reload the page, the lightbox opens on page load, and because the lightbox opened on page load and not by clicking the button, then raincheck doesn't load the content. Is that correct?
Yes. If I name it main menu, and I have hashtag main menu. So
yes, and that will open the lightbox on page load. Yeah, I get it.
Raincheck down.
I'll have to think about that one.
So you don't simple set a menu.
Yep. I totally get it. Yeah. Yep. I totally understand. I'll have to think about that one. Yeah, I'll think about it. Okay. Let me make a note of that really quick. Hold on 1 second. So I don't forget.
There are more options with Lightbox and
Mhm.
Foundation 6. So maybe you can set anything else
Yes.
more
Yep.
to it.
Rain checklist. There it is. 1 second.
So open with escape or so. Something.
Yep.
Close, not open.
All right. I added a note to myself. I'll think about that. Okay. See if I can come up with a fix for you.
Yep, thanks.
No problem.
Joe, regarding rain check, are you
Yes.
supposed to like on a same page to have
Mhm.
several instances of rain check, or
Mhm.
should you try to group everything into like one umbrella for rain check?
It's really up to you. Both will work. So you can have individual if you want, or you can like let's say you have a grid of images, you can put the entire grid in rain check.
What's more efficient?
What's more efficient? Good question.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't. There's probably a lot of different situations where maybe it could be more efficient one way versus the other.
Okay.
You know,
no, fair enough.
Depending on
That's fair enough.
how heavy of the stuff that you have in that rain check. If you have like 200 images on the page and you put it all in one rain check, yeah, your site loads fast, and then you scroll down and then you hit it for another like 20 meg at once.
There you go. There's a situation where loading it all at once wouldn't work, right? But you know, loading it in stages would. Yeah.
Okay.
Depends on the page.
I know I hate answers where like it depends, but yeah, it's yeah. I don't see there's no really drawbacks to doing it individually other than you having to add it multiple times, right? So it's just kind of a that way there are no necessarily drawbacks, unless you were talking about hundreds of them, and at that point maybe a little bit more memory having that many rain checks on the page, but
that's fair enough. I just couldn't work out what would you were supposed to do. But if it really depends on
it depends if you're loading 15 awards or 2,000 snaps.
Yeah. Sweet. Let's see. I think there was another post on here that I wanted to talk about today. I think we're good. Okay, I will. One thing I wanted to show off so that if last week, I shipped, I think it was last week, I shipped like a gazillion updates, right? And one thing I did that I totally forgot about, it was like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, I don't even remember when, I completely rewrote my line stack, right? And my line stack is just a simple divider, but it allows you to like style it and do all kinds of stuff with it, right? It's a nice little stack, but I completely rewrote it and made it nicer. Again, 2 or 3 years ago, totally forgot about it, never released it. And then when I did all these shipping of all these updates, I shipped it. And it was like, oops, totally forgot I did that. So yeah, you guys got, if anyone owned Lines, you got a completely free upgrade to Lines, and it's pretty nice. So I haven't built any videos for the new version yet, but I figured, hey, why not? We can go over it today, and show it off.
You could.
Nice.
Got it. Never used it.
There we go. So let's this one. Yes, this one. All right. So the line stack, as it says, is a bunch of divider lines, right? So let's just preview this page. Just kind of show you. This is the demo project that if you were to download the stack now, it comes with it. And so it's just a different way of doing various divider lines. Okay. I see you can go something simple and boring with just a straight line. You can do, styled lines such as this double one, kind of a two-toned line. As you see, those ones are also angled, so you can kind of make it a little bit skewed. We have these cool little gradient effect lines. This line effect here is called flare, which kind of has these little flared ends. Interesting. And then one that I actually quite like is the ability to put in glyphs or full-blown headers on top of your line, which is kind of cool. Okay. Cool. So a nice little options there. So let's dive into the stack. It's really super simple to use. So inside lines, we have various styles. So you can do solid line, dashed line, double. So one thing with a double, you actually have to give it a size to kind of see both lines. So if you have it 1 pixel, you have to kind of give it, a thicker line to see both. It's just the way the double happens. That's not my thing. That's how CSS works. So then they have groove. Groove and ridge are a way you can get two-toned borders. And those also behave the same way in that you kind of have to give it a thick. If I go super thick, you can kind of see it has 2 colors there. Okay. But at one, you need at least 2 pixels because it needs to show 2 colors. So it's 1 pixel for each color, basically. And the difference between groove and ridge is just the colors are flipped. Okay. I have the ability to do a vertical line. Yeah, there you go. You can do a vertical line. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. I'm not sure the use case. Maybe you can have a column, 2 columns in a vertical line, but I don't columns pro. If you have Foundation 6, it has column dividers as well, which are probably a little bit nicer than lines, to be honest, in terms of sizing options. Those don't have all the styled options, but if you wanted some styled vertical dividers, there you go. And obviously you can change the colors. Okay. There's some extra effects that we saw. So there is a special one for double border, which gives you a little bit different than these. Oh yeah, I go solid. Solid double border. Oops, that doesn't seem to. Where's the? Oh, I think you need to give 2 colors. What's going on? Accent color. Oh, there it goes. Not sure why double borders behaving like that. Is this one's a double? Oh no, that's a double up there. Okay. I'll be honest. I'm not sure what double border does versus again, I wrote this a few years ago and was like, oh, I accidentally released it. I did polish a few things up. I didn't test this one out. Interesting. Okay. Not sure what double border does and how it's different than the style double. It looks to be the same. I'm not sure. Okay. Anyway, gradient. This one's kind of cool. It's like this gradient down here. Here's an example. And you can provide 4 different colors. And it basically, goes from color to throughout the 4 different colors throughout the gradient. So like this goes from completely transparent, which kind of makes it fade out into the page, right? To to this red and then to blue, and then that fades out to nothing. So I like the gradient. I think it's pretty slick. Okay, that's another one of my things I like about this update. Flared, it's kind of interesting. Again, it does do these little flared edges. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I don't know. It was interesting. I thought it was an interesting style. So so if you have kind of a fancy site, I guess, that maybe wants some girly dividers, there you go. Next up is the ability to add, obviously here you can change the width of all the dividers. So default is going to be 100%, but you can make them, there's a lot to be said where you can have, a divider that doesn't go the entire width, right? I think that could be nice as well. Okay, like for example, here I made this one, 50% width or whatever it was. It's still centered. It's kind of nice that it doesn't go all the way out, right? So there we go. Now you can add these glyphs to anything, right? So for this particular example, I'm using the gradient line, which I think is super sharp and slick. And then now in here I have this little doohickey from the Apple keyboard, but you can type whatever you want, right? So there, you have an ampersand. I don't know why you'd want that, but whatever. Or actually you could probably do like emojis too, right? So here, Valentine's Day was yesterday. So there we go. We can have a heart in there. Okay. Now, what you will notice here is that when you define a glyph, you have to give it content background. Okay, so you have to give it a background color. And you see that here in edit mode. You see that this is in a white box. Okay. And then basically what you want to do is you want to match your website background. Okay. So I'll let the cat out of the bag. How this is happening, all it is just a box with text that is positioned on top of the line. Okay. So like if I made this color transparent, guess what would happen? You'll just see the line through it. Okay. So yeah, that's I'll pull the that's the magician behind the curtain there sort of thing, right? Yeah, exactly. So if you have a picture background or a gradient background, probably not going to work the best. Okay. Because yeah, but most of us have solid color backgrounds. And at that point, it's an optical illusion. Okay. Kind of cool little thing. A lot of the web is optical illusions. Okay.
So can you put icons in there, like F5 icons?
Sure. You can put whatever you want in there.
So that in that content when you can put anything like that.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. And then for the FA5 icon, you might need to go to this HTML5 instead of glyph. You might go to HTML5, which then at that point you here I have like an H3, but then you can paste in your font awesome snippet. That'll work 100%. So if it doesn't work with glyph, use it with the HTML5 option. And this works exactly the same. You have to give it a background color, and you can give it the color of your content. Okay, and then yeah, Bob's your uncle. Same thing happens. It's just a box that sits on top of the line. Okay, so yeah, it looks super nice and stylized, but you all know the magic now.
It's a lie.
So there we go. So that's the line stack. It was a free update. If you don't have it, I think it's pretty slick. A couple things I love. This gradient one is cool. I like how you can rotate. I didn't show the rotation. It's just a setting here, so you can kind of just rotate. I like very vague, like 1 or 2% degree of rotation. Just kind of adds a little to it. So yeah, give a little bit of something different on your page. So yeah, check out lines. I think it's $9.95 or whatnot. If you don't have it, I think it's pretty slick. I'm sure once people start using it again, maybe I don't know, probably it doesn't have a class. I should probably add a class in here so you can, I don't know, style it with Foundation 6 for some reason. If you want to do that, maybe animate it or something, or have some hover effects and jazz like that, probably style it. So we'll probably add a class.
People
option.
will.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I'll probably add a class option pretty soon. So that we can apply swatches to it as well.
That's pretty cool. I've got a use for that actually.
Sweet. I like it.
So it's for sale on your site right now?
Yeah, it's there right now.
Okay.
And yep. Yeah, it's been there. I think Lines is one of my, I've had that for probably 10 years. So yeah, I think this was intended to be a paid upgrade. Actually, this was going to be Lines 2, but like I said, I accidentally forgot about it and shipped it. And so now everybody gets it for free. Well, everyone that free update if you didn't own it already.
So I have a font awesome icon in it, and when you rotate, it just rotates the line and not the whole thing.
Interesting. Yep, that makes sense. We can fix that.
But it works. It works with the regular content though. So
it works with the glyph.
Yes, sorry, with the glyph. Although
Okay.
it's kind of cool though, like just having the icon in there. It's it's normal, and having the line.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I can
can
kind
see
of
that,
see
yeah.
that as like a page break, like a
Yeah.
dividing
Interesting.
content. That's
Yeah.
actually cool.
So it's a feature, Chris. See,
It's a feature.
I'm smart. It's a feature.
Good job, Joe. If I really wanted to, I could just put I guess a transform swatch on that font awesome.
100%. Yeah.
If I really want, but I really like the way it looks. I have I did like a boat, a ship, I guess, icon, and it's using the ridge. It looks pretty slick, actually.
Cool.
Yeah.
And if you guys didn't know about other cool ways to divide up your content, here we'll go into sales pitch mode here.
Buy my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, seams. Yeah, I got that.
Seams is pretty slick.
Yep.
So yeah, seams allows you to do stuff like these S curves and kind of this stuff like that. So they're definitely more elaborate kind of page section dividers. You can even do stuff like paired pages and whatnot. So yeah, these cool dividers are all done with seams. Yeah, they're pretty cool. You can even do custom ones. If you have your own SVG, you can do your own custom one, such as this little doohickey down here with the grass and the butterflies. So sweet. Any questions on lines? No, it's a pretty simple stack.
I will play with that.
Yeah, I'm excited to use it, actually.
I had that years ago. I think it stopped working in Foundation 1 though, or something.
Yeah, it was kind of an influx for a little while, and yeah, so this new version is pretty nice, completely redone.
So on your email, you were saying you might be revamping GeoTarget.
GeoTarget, yes. Let's go ahead and let's show you what we got for GeoTarget. Oh, like I said, I don't have much on this project file. Huh? Okay. I am going to be doing new icons, but until then, so it will come with 5 stacks. Okay, there's going to be GeoCity, GeoCloudflare, GeoCountry, GeoInfo, and GeoState. Kind of the main ones are going to be GeoCity, GeoCountry, and GeoState. Apparently, Scott's stressed. Must be doing some more JavaScript.
Scott, take a break. Come and join me in GoDaddy hell. See how bad it can really get. It'll make you appreciate when you go back how easy you have it.
So I simplified GeoTarget, and at the same time, I think made it more powerful as well. Okay. If you don't know what GeoTarget is, it allows you to customize your website content based on your user's location. Okay. So for example, GeoCountries will allow you to, let's say, if I'm in the United States, I can display something. If I'm outside the United States, I can display something different, right? So let's go ahead and we're going to do, we'll do by country name. And let's say if I'm in the United States, okay? And for preview, you can plop in your IP address to test, okay? Let's just go ahead and let's put in some content in here. Just get like a header. We'll say matched.
You are missing one stack.
Yep, I know. I know.
You need the Geo Balloon stack.
Perfect.
And help those Chinese keep track of them.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be Geo Drift.
Yeah, GeoDrift. Yeah.
Okay. So in this particular, and actually for fun, while we're doing this, let's show off the geo info stack while we're in here. I'm just going to chuck that on the page. Okay. Preview. Damn it, Safari's over here. All right. So obviously my my IP address, this IP address is not mine. This IP address is in the United States. And it matches. Okay, because I'm in the US, because geo countries, if it's in the US, it'll display this, or else it'll display that. For test purposes, you can force a mismatch. So you can verify that the content is there, or how it looks, right? So that
Joe,
is,
how does GeoCity work?
we'll get there.
Okay.
So now basically here you can do the country name, you can do the country code. I recommend probably doing the codes. That's going to be the ISO standard. So US, SP, MX, all basically the two character country code. So in that case, I would use US here. Okay. And you can do comma delimited lists. So if you wanted to do multiple, like if I wanted US, comma, MX, right? That was probably a major feature request from version 1. People wanted to find multiple. Okay, so now you can define a comma delimited list of countries. Okay, and for those in the European Union, I added something really cool. You could just say in European Union.
Done.
Done. All right. So there we go. I'm not in the European Union, so I get the no match. Okay.
Or England.
Yep, exactly. Nor will you, David. Okay. So there we go. In European Union. Okay. Because that was a big thing. I know a lot of people wanted to target that. Okay. So let's go. Next is GeoCity and GeoState. Oh, one thing I do have to say is much different, and why this was a big, huge rewrite is prior versions of GeoTarget basically used an API. You had to go to a particular website and get an API key. It didn't cost you anything, but you had to get an API key, put the API key in the stack, and then it would work. Okay. Essentially, it queried the API from that service for hey, here's my user's IP address. What country are they in? And this version, it's 100% independent. It's standalone. Basically, it comes shipped with an IP database. Okay, it gets published to your server, and all this logic never leaves. It never contacts any external services, no other APIs. It's 100% on your server. Okay, that's pretty slick. And I will make sure that probably every few months, I'll ship an update with the latest versions of that database. Okay, and I'll make sure I provide those updates, free of charge as always. Okay. So yeah, that is a big feature for this stack. Is it's 100% independent. Now, what I did prior, actually, yesterday, I showed a couple people some screenshots of this. I had country, city, and state as one GeoTarget stack, and basically, when you publish that, it published the databases to your server. Now, I think most people are going to want to use GeoCountry, basically. Because there's two different databases. There is a country database, and then there is a city database. And the city database is quite large. It's 70 megabytes. So that means if you had GeoTarget on your page, even if you only wanted to query for country, it would have to upload a 70 megabyte file database to your server. Therefore, what I did is, since I think most people are going to want to query at the country level, that is only a 4 megabyte file. Okay. So yeah, if you're using GeoCountry, that is a 4 megabyte file that will then get uploaded. So if you want to use city or state, and I'll be honest here, the city and the state stack are actually the identical stack. Okay. But I felt if I only had city and country, people would say, I need to query for state. So I just created a state stack. The only difference is the default condition is state instead of the city. The default condition is city. Okay. So For cities, it essentially works the same way. I don't know who asked that, but it works the same way as country. Okay, so you can do city name or postal code, which is kind of cool. Okay, and you can do a comma delimited list of those. Now, a little caveat with city. Okay, so if we go ahead and do city, let's go ahead and preview. Hold on one second. Let's go ahead and let's just do. Let's change this stuff here. Delete this one, and we'll do city name. And we'll do San Francisco. Okay. Oops. What happened? What did I do wrong? Oh, apparently I found a target in cities. Oops. Apparently I didn't test this last night. In cities.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
shoot.
yeah.
Okay. Well, like I said, I haven't released this yet, so this is still under development. But what I was going to say is, obviously, depending on your location, right, and your IP, the IP address might be tied to a city that's adjacent to the one you are actually in, right? So be careful with that, right? It depends on your ISP and all kinds of jazz, right? So that's why I think
it's even
most
crazier
people...
when you're in Canada. Sometimes it's the next province over.
Oh, wow. Crazy.
So depending on who your provider is, you could be getting an IP from the next province over.
Yep. So yeah, I in state, you can also do, state, code, state or province names, or state or province, ISO 2, codes. And that would definitely be more accurate, potentially. But country is probably going to be the most accurate. Now, what about VPNs and all that crap? Okay. Well, it's a VPN. If someone's going to be on a VPN, I can't, can't guarantee that. However, okay, if your site is using Cloudflare, Cloudflare has some, I don't know what they do, but they try to have some trickery that goes around and finds a person's actual IP address versus their VPN. How they do it, I don't know. But they with every HTTP request, they actually tack on this data. And if you're using Cloudflare and you have that data along with the HTTP request, I actually get that data from Cloudflare and use that instead of what the default web server uses. So that's a little nicety if you're using Cloudflare. Okay. Now, how is that different than the Geo Cloudflare stack? This one doesn't use the database at all. Okay, so along with that request, Cloudflare also sends the actual country that they think the user is from, and I just let you match that. Okay, so this particular Geo Cloudflare doesn't upload any databases to your server. It just relies on Cloudflare's information. And in order to do that, your site has to be running through Cloudflare. So there we go. There's all the options that we have.
So it needs their NSA API.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So any questions on that? Or any current users of the current version of GeoTarget here? Just curious. And if you are a current user, does it look cool?
Yeah, I use it to prevent email signups for one of my clients from outside the country. So they can only get people, you can only be in the country to sign up for the email list.
Got it. Cool. The current version used cookies to cache someone's response for 7 days by default. This basically will remember the person for their session, for the current session. So I'm not using cookies any longer because then the whole GDPR thing, people are super highly against cookies. And that made this stack just a little bit more nimble because I didn't need to have any browser aspects to it. It now runs 100% on your server, and there's no JavaScript at all involved. So it does remember for the session. So it doesn't, for every page load, it doesn't have to constantly look up his IP address in the database. once it looks it up once for that session, it will never look it up again because it's cached in the session data. And yeah, there we go. See, I'm pretty happy with the stack. I think I'll probably release it next week. And that one won't be a free upgrade. It will be a paid upgrade.
But what about leaving the API thingy in, or is that impossible? Because
I didn't want to leave it in because and the reason I kind of triggered me to redo the stack is that service, they've kind of stopped taking new users. So I've actually, a few people have purchased the stack recently. I had to give them my API key because my API key still works because they're not giving out free API keys anymore. And so, yeah, I didn't want to rely on their external service any longer.
Okay.
You know, I think it's ultimately better because then every page view, it's not sending your visitor's IP address to some random third party just to look up their look up the IP address information. It's 100% local on your server now. There's zero third party interaction. So ultimately, it's better and faster because every page load, it doesn't need to go and do a connection to some remote API just to render the web page. So it makes your website faster as well. And I'm all for removing third-party dependencies, 100% whenever I can.
Will the new version of Total CMS works with the old one, or must I do all new?
So these stacks are going to be completely different, but I will have a data migration tool. So you'll be able to migrate your data, so you won't lose your data. But basically the implementation of the stacks is going to be very different. Okay. So if you want a dabble on how dabble now into how Total CMS 3 will process data, take a look at feeds, and that'll give you a big leg up in terms of when you're going to implement Total CMS 3, because feeds uses something called a twig templating language, and that is going to be a lot of the power behind Total CMS 3. And feeds integrates with blog now. So yeah.
So I must change all my stacks.
I will. So if you're using macros, I'll have some backwards compatibility for the macros. So it'll basically, translate the macros. And I think that'll take care of a lot, but like the blog list stack and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to redo the blog list and stuff like that. So it will be some work.
Okay. Can you say when it comes? It's ready?
This year. This year. Okay. So my goal is to have a beta by this spring. But spring comes really fast, and the past few weeks I've had a lot of fires to put out, so it's eaten into my time. But I have been working on it. So yeah, I've even showed it off a few times here and there, a few things. So I'm working on all the twig stuff in Total CMS 3 as we speak.
I can't wait, Joe.
Sweet.
Maybe we'll get it by the summit.
Yeah.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000. I will kill myself if it. Well, okay, yeah. That will definitely 1,000% will have. If it's not released, it should be released by then. Like I can't imagine it not being released by the summit. But I do have all the API is done. And that was a big part. So now it's just creating the. Pulling the data out. So all the saving of the data and the retrieving of the data out of the CMS is all done. Now it's just creating the more nicer parts where you guys interact with it, not having to worry about an API. So.
Yeah, you just got to give the speakers enough time to work with it so they can get their presentations ready.
Yep. Well, I'll definitely have a lot of, I'll definitely open it up to some, a lot of betas. Thanks for coming, Fernando. So yeah, I'll definitely have early access for stuff that people to play with, and get a lot of testing in before, we go and launch it. So, and another thing that will be a big test is the migration of existing data. That will be, I want to say it's going to be easy, but I know there's going to be a lot of, edge cases that, it's going to be some problems. So I'm sure the data migration part will be a challenge, I'm sure.
So much work, so down will be a free upgrade, huh?
No, it won't. It is not going to be free. Or initially, Total CMS 2 was going to be a free upgrade, but Total CMS 3 will not be a free upgrade. So yeah, I put a lot of work into Total CMS 3, a lot, and yeah, it won't be a free upgrade. It will be a discounted upgrade. I'm sorry.
It's a free upgrade from 2,
yeah,
right?
It'll be a free. If you have Total CMS 2, it'll be a free upgrade. Here, I'll give you that.
Good, because I actually have Total CMS 2. You heard him.
You heard him. It's live. It's recorded on YouTube forever.
Hey Joe,
it's on the internet now.
Just a thought for the line stack. Is it possible for it to have glyph, HTML, and then maybe a well, like a stack well or drop zone?
I'm only asking, we can do that.
I'm only asking because I'm playing with an SVG, and yeah, I can copy it over into it, but
using the SVG stack would be nicer.
Way nicer. A lot easier to adjust the sizing of it, because right now I have to manually calculate everything.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
What's that? Buy or before Friday? No.
Arlen, thanks for popping on, man. Arlen's new foundation user.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw his post earlier.
Yeah.
Man, I actually really like this line stack. It's really fun.
I'm going to get that myself. I've got a good use for that.
Yeah, it's I've had it, and I think I used it once long time ago, pre F6, and now this is fun.
Sweet.
I think that well is going to really help. I pinged you, Joe, an image of the what do you call it, where it's got like the hooks on the end, or the flare.
Oh, the flare. Yeah.
It's not lining up in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Just yeah, it shifts everything. It shifts things down when you have something in the center. Just FYI.
Interesting. Okay.
And if you have it, I have a just so I can center it on the screen. I have it in a one column. Here, I'll just show you. What am I doing? So I have this just an SVG in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's shifting down. But and just to show you the setup, it's a one column set to 100% vertical height with centered, and then if I set it to vertical, it disappears.
Oh. Yeah, vertical is going to be sketchy. It does. Yeah.
Yeah, just to show you. I mean,
sure. Yeah.
Personally, it's actually kind of neat. If you take it out of that. Oh, hold on. Let me get rid. Oh, it was working. They did this really cool thing. Maybe it's the HTML it doesn't like. No.
Broke it.
Let me try solid. It did do this cool thing where it just divided the entire screen in half. So I don't know. Maybe it's that flare.
Well, guys, I hate to leave and call us quits, but I just noticed the time, and I have somewhere to get to in 15 minutes. So
Don't forget your kid.
Keep the kids
Yep,
up.
exactly. So cool. If you guys
Yeah.
like this, if you're new, check out. We do this every Friday, and there's no time limits. We just kind of go on for a long time every Friday. And knock
you,
on
Joe.
wood. Look, hey, we had no questionable people join in today. Did you notice that?
I thought I saw someone. I was like, that guy.
I know. Yeah. At the very
Yeah.
beginning, I was like, darn it! I thought
Yeah.
I did it right this time. And yeah, exactly.
Well, I was like, he wouldn't show his face. Why?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a
Sweet.
win.
But we
That's a
like
solid
Kristen
win.
anyways, you know?
Yeah. You know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thanks,
Hopefully
everybody.
We'll see some of you guys on
Have
Friday.
a good day.
See ya.
Take care. Bye.